Yeah, it should work. All right, hello everybody. We are here. We're present. Welcome to the first Quirkless livestream of 2024. I am here with my friend Eternal Flame, who actually
Hello,
I forgot to put you in the
buddy.
title. Let me fix that.
Surprise, surprise, plot twist. I'm here. Well, how y'all doing?
Yeah, so this is the plot twist. So today we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 248 and some of the predictions. I have some of the thoughts I've had about it, and just have a bit of a discussion about this. So first of all, Eternal Flame, how excited are you, and what do you think is going to happen in Chapter
I am
248?
hyped. I'm excited. It's been 3 weeks since Jujutsu Kaisen, so we're finally getting back into it after the 3 week long break.
Let me get some.
But yeah, see, one of my main predictions I'm going to start out with, and let's go insane right off the bat, because this is the best way to start off a stream. Yuji's going to eat the sword.
He's going to eat the sword.
Yes,
That's
he's going to eat.
That's an interesting prediction. I don't think I've heard that one.
He's going to eat the sword, and he's going to end up absorbing the curse technique into himself somehow. I don't know how yet.
First of all, we're going to put a poll in chat of how many people actually think Sukuna is dead here. Because I think there's about a 0% chance this guy dies personally. And, the reasons for that, for me, are that Sukuna is just... It doesn't feel like the thematic end of Sukuna.
Oh, agreed.
Like, it feels like if Sukuna dies, it's going to be after the merger. And for the longest time, the merger to me, and I feel like that's what we're building up to here, the merger is the grand finale of Jujutsu Kaisen. And previously, we thought that all the characters had to die for this thing to happen, but now they're saying stuff like, oh, if you're a sorcerer, you can survive this. So it doesn't seem like this guaranteed death.
100%. Like, the merger seems to be at least possible for all the characters to survive. I think Maki also can survive because in order to get, like, infused into the merger, you need to have a little bit of curse energy. Maki has no curse energy, so Maki should be fine as well. But I doubt that... I can see it fully being possible that the merger ends up appearing somehow in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the merger, to me, I feel like that might be the only way you beat Sukuna at this point. And somebody in chat says Higuruma shouldn't die. It seems like Higuruma's whole plan was to die. And, if it was just like, oh, he got gutted, since he does have RCT, but I think even if he could come back, he's just going to let himself die.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Also, the second that Sukuna sees he's starting to get up, he's going to do it again. He's not letting this man live. Just like he did with Gojo. He sees no entertainment in him anymore. At least I think.
Let me actually update this title. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that it is definitely a moment where for Higuruma's a big, he's a character I like a lot. A lot of people like Higuruma. And some people aren't very happy that he died. It does kind of feel a little bit like, okay, we lost another one. But that's just kind of how JJK goes. And Higuruma in general, while he's a great character, he was kind of introduced for this purpose. He was already a beaten down person even before the Culling Games. And now him dying, I feel like it's not it's not the worst end for his character. I would have liked to see him do more, especially now that we have him as, this ridiculous talent.
Agreed. But for me, at least, like, this feels like the perfect place to have ended him. The judge who had done so many crimes gets, like, put to rest finally for all of his crimes he's done, but helping the next generation and the good people in the world, like he wanted to go out. He actually got the death he wanted.
I would agree with that. So I'm going to read something from chat here. Maki is an anomaly, so she's a big chip they can play. And I agree. Maki is certainly an anomaly. She is completely missing. Of all the heavy hitters, she's the only one we don't know the presence of. And Maki in general, she's probably faster now, right? I know that they don't have an actual training regimen for these characters with the Heavenly Restriction. Like, it's not like a cursed energy control, but she's probably stronger in a different way. I'm kind of curious 100%. To see what that's going to be, though.
I think they just straight up got physically stronger through fighting and sparring, just on that Saiyan biology type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
The Saiyan biology for the Heavenly Restriction. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Is Urahime still dancing? We sure hope so.
Yeah. They need all the amps they can get.
Her buff could be one of the most useful things in the entire chapter. Upcoming.
Actually, let's hope they're not dancing, so if they dance later, they can still get the buff.
Do I think Urame has a domain? Almost guaranteed. I don't feel like I feel like Sukuna wouldn't let somebody be his right hand if there's just some punk that can't even domain.
Yep. And it's not like Sukuna is not going to fight Urame's battles. We literally see this with Gojo. So yeah,
That's true.
Urame is definitely strong. It's like I've always been of the
Urame
belief
did kind of.
Urame's
I mean, he did kind of tank a Hollow Purple for her, which I don't think
yeah.
Sukuna would do that for most people. Granted, he didn't really have a choice considering Gojo did get the drop
Yeah.
on him. What happens
Also,
to Tengen when Kenny dies? That's a good question. I'm imagining that Tengen would probably just die. That's actually an excellent question. Tengen is a bit of an anomaly because Tengen got
we don't
absorbed as
we
like
don't actually know because like Toji specified to not kill Geto because he wouldn't know what would happen if cursed spirit manipulation released all the cursed techniques, or if a cursed spirit manipulation user died. And Geto died taking all of the cursed spirits down with him. So
Yep,
we have no idea what's about to happen.
that is true. Geto did die, and unless Gojo just executed them all when they popped out, and we just didn't see that off screen.
Oh no!
Oh no, they're still in. They're still
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in Kenjaku, obviously.
Yep. So we're about to find out.
Who's the next character to die? I'm gonna say it's probably Yuta. It's probably Yuta or Hakari.
Yeah.
Like Yuta as a character, I love Yuta. I'm gonna preface this before I piss off Yuta fans. I love Yuta as a character, but his character arc has been done since JJK0, and while he is this epic powerhouse and he's a really cool character, he doesn't have much to do left in this series except fight strong guys.
Yep. So I think Yuta is likely to die, but I don't think Hakari is dying. I think Hakari is likely going to beat Urame, and like I think Hakari is going to die eventually, but I don't think he is the next up to die. The next up to die is probably Kusakabe, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, Kusakabe. I hope not. I love Kusakabe.
Same here. He's my goat. But
Like Kusakabe is the best teacher. He really is.
Yep, but you don't get to be a teacher in Jujutsu Kaisen and be happy, unless Kusakabe.
It's unfortunately true.
Kusakabe. I believe in you. Wow.
Yeah, Yuta dying will make me drop the series. I'm sorry to hear that. I will be there at Yuta's vigil.
Yeah.
But honestly, Hakari, when people say Hakari or Yuta, that seems to be the go-to for most people if people die.
Yep.
It's just for Yuta, for me, it's like Yuta is super powerful. There are not a lot of people left for him to fight, and he just bodied his top villain, which is Kenjaku, the guy he said he was going to kill.
Like we were expecting maybe a massive 1v1, and that probably would have been like Yuta's finale, but no, he didn't. So he's probably going to end up fighting Sukuna, and I think we all know that's not going to end too well.
I think Yuta's going to... I'm going to hot take this. I think Yuta will perform better against Sukuna than people think he will right now, just because of this post-time skip, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think all three of them together... They might give Sukuna, not really Sukuna, a run for his money, but they'll force a technique reveal out of him or something else.
Yeah. That's what I see being the most likely. Like, he dies, but uses his curse technique on, I can see it being likely to use it on Hakari if it has, an anti-regen property because of the entire Hakari having better RCT than Sukuna. So
yeah, the RCT of Hakari is pretty ridiculous. And if he is... durable enough, and they say the characters have gotten pretty durable, but if he's durable enough to survive a Malevolent Shrine now, I think he should be able to at least do something. And there is some foreshadowing of blowing apart the center shrine of our good old Malevolent Shrine and breaking it down, because even Gojo notes that the center of the shrine seems to be the core of the domain. And even though Kusakabe and Meimei say, oh, he's not doing anything to go after it. I mean, they're Kusakabe and Meimei, and this is Gojo Satoru. And I trust him a lot more than I trust these two nobodies. I mean, sorry, Kusakabe, but...
I trust the guy who has literal cursed energy vision to a molecular level more than I trust these two normal.
Yeah, I'm going to trust the Six Eyes user, the Super Prodigy Six Eyes user, and way over the Kusakabe guy that wants to run from every single event, pretty much.
Yeah, but who knows?
See, your boy Plank asked, when we getting the Madoka Magica review? I promise I will do it sometime before the heat death of the universe.
Damn. So find out, like, you just have like a YouTube video scheduled now. Prepare for
Yeah,
uploading.
at some point. It's
You'll never
there.
know.
It exists.
Yeah.
Oh, if it isn't Steve. Hello, Steve.
Who's Steve?
So it's my friend. I just saw him in chat.
Oh.
Is that a Madoka Magica review reference? It is indeed, Plank. You will get your wish one day.
Damn.
Yeah, okay. You're a big fan of Kusakabe. He doesn't even watch this anime. Thanks for showing up, man. Did you read Gege and the manga editor's last statement? Yes, actually, that's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. Balid? Am I even saying that right? Thank you for bringing that up, viewer. The editor said there was a huge occurrence, like the next 2 chapters are going to have some major happenings. And I think that's pretty, I think, that's a pretty generalized statement, but as far as major plot reveals go, oh my god, excuse me. As far as major plot reveals go, this does seem like the point in time where we get a Sukuna backstory.
Agreed. I think we're actually going. It's either going to be a Sukuna backstory or a Yuji backstory. It's going to be one or the other, or both, because they're brothers, that type of stuff.
In Sunflower Samurai donates $5. Thank you very much. Asking, in 246, we discover that Ino uses Nanami's curse tool with his CT imbued in it. Do you think this Ino ability will come into play in the future? As a matter of fact, yes, I do, and I've wondered before if Sukuna's curse tools in general are the result of powerful sorcerers he's killed and then put the techniques of into his curse tools. And I've wondered this for Nobara as well. Because Nobara has a pretty powerful technique, and she died pretty much in the exact same way Nanami died. So if she doesn't come back, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Soul Resonance again in a curse tool.
Yep. And this is also kind of supported by the fact that, the bath ritual, right? Like I've talked about this before, the bath ritual is a curse tool ritual, which is really interesting.
Yes, the bath ritual is a curse tool ritual. That's true. It's the Kadoku ritual, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, and the fact Durame knows it kind of says a lot. And Durame being like the head chef might say a lot about what those curse tools have in them.
Chap starts with a flashback to the Heian era. Man, I hope so. I hope we do get to see a flashback to the Heian era. That's on my wish list. Before JJK ends, I want to see a flashback to the Heian era. I think that's pretty much on everybody's list at this point, though.
Especially with how much the focus Sukuna has, and the fact he's just the main villain straight up. We need that backstory. We need that Heian era flashback.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Especially with Kenjaku and all these. I've talked a little about this in my last review, that JJK does a pretty excellent job at world building where, you have all these historical figures, but due to the fact they don't interact with each other, it makes the world feel less small. Like in JJK 0, you don't see Sukuna because Sukuna is dead, and that's all there is to it. He's not a focal point because the world has moved on without him. And it's at points in, I think I'm gonna burn my hero a little bit for this, is that in My Hero, everything feels linked to like one small group of people, and all the main characters are linked to these groups of people, and anything ancillary to that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Like, to add even more onto the world building point, this is something a lot of people don't think about. The 6 Eyes plus Limitless user and the 10 Shadows user that Megumi talked about is in the same era that Kashimo is from, which is really nuts to think about until you actually realize it. But it's just, they never interact with each other, so you would never really think about it at all until you think hard about it.
Yuji is going to unlock Sukuna's CT. That's what somebody says. That would be interesting. I'm curious to see what Sukuna's actual CT is. Because it's either going to be some legendary reveal, or he's like, it's just a fire arrow. And that's the only other thing I have.
He doesn't have anything else.
Any theories on why Sukuna was adapting to Unlimited Void, even in the first class she easily won, or why he still wanted adaptation to Infinity when Gojo was on his knees? I think Gojo is just a character, not Gojo, excuse me. Sukuna is a character that he's an eternal practitioner of Jujutsu. He always wants to improve. He never considers himself finished. And if we're talking about, we don't know his full CT yet, and that might change my opinion on this. But Sukuna as a character, he really seems like somebody that's always trying to get better. I think that'd be the biggest example of that.
Yep, because that's the type of person Sukuna is just in general. He is someone who always wants to find every single answer to every single problem. He will always continue to improve and find the most efficient way to solve it.
Yeah, he's also a terrible person. Let's not forget that. It's a very bad person.
Yeah, don't be like
He's
Sukuna.
the worst. Yeah, don't be like Sukuna. Don't be like the comment the comment I saw the other day. I'm going to read this one. I'm not no names, but some quote Sukuna fan, "Depression needs to exist, you fool. The very concept of it inspires us to evolve to a greater specimen. That way we can pick out the weak sheep from the strong." Now, if that is not Sukuna's YouTube channel, I don't know what is.
Yeah, bruh. Oh, by the way, someone don't know.
Let's see. Adrian Valderes, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. Chapter 248 starts with Sukuna in the airport, with Kenjaku greeting him and asking him, "So how is my son?" Yeah, that would be... If there's another airport scene in this series, I don't know if the Gojo fans in mourning will be able to handle it.
Yeah, unless it's for Sukuna. I think they'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, Sukuna gets an airport scene, and like Gojo, everyone he killed is there. That would be pretty funny.
Like mommy, what the? I forgot their names. Niniko and the other one. What is the other ghetto child name?
Are we getting the spoilers this week?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Finally, we are finally getting. We are finally getting the spoilers after this eternal break. It's felt like forever, really.
Yeah. This break has been so long, but we're finally so close to it being over. 2 more days. 2 more days and leaks come, and we're finally free.
Our Sukuna ending up in the airport would be worse than Gojo in the airport. It would make me wonder because Sukuna's like from the Heian era. It kind of feels out of left field for him to show up in a modern airport. But yeah, that's how I would feel about it. I think the fire arrow is Yuji's own technique. And Flame, you've thought this before as well. And we've talked about this off stream many times, I think.
Yep, I used to think that as well. But Gege is a mean person and drew art of Heian era Sukuna recently showing the flames. And I felt so sad.
Yeah, so I guess it's pretty much confirmed then that he is, in fact, the user of the fire arrow.
Yeah. Like I have another theory around it though, which that theory in particular is basically Sukuna put the fire arrow into Yuji's brain and rewrote Yuji's brain to have the fire arrow. Like I thought it originally was from Jogo, but no, it might have just been Sukuna rewrote it into Yuji's brain.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's something. I mean, I don't think Sukuna would ever give anything to Yuji willingly. So if Yuji gets power-ups from Sukuna's fingers, or he gets a power-up from Sukuna's CT, Sukuna's probably going to be pissed that he left this guy with anything worthwhile.
He's going to be like, I forgot this. Crap.
Yeah, I can't believe I gave him anything. Like, he wouldn't even give him, like, a burger if he was hungry.
Yeah.
Quirkless, how about a video on what type of curse tools certain CTs could create? We already have Inverted Spear from Angel, or maybe you could speculate on what type of CT is used to make what tools. You know, I have thought about making a video on curse tools and the most important curse tools in the series. Inverted Spear of Heaven, I mean, that thing, first time you show up and you hear it nullifies CTs, you think that's broken. And then you get to this point in the series and you think that's still broken because JJK's generally, the power creep in JJK, it's really not the worst compared to a lot of anime I've seen.
Oh, 100%. There are still characters that were introduced and killed in like earlier arcs that are still relevant. Like Hanami and Jogo are still relevant in top 20 discussions for JJK. And Jogo top 15 for some
Especially
reason.
after the anime.
Yep.
I mean, let's be real. Jogo after the anime, that is my headcanon. That is how I see Jogo in all things now. Like, melting a city, I mean, that's just cool. I mean, it's not cool. It's pretty hot, but...
Bruh.
I wonder what would happen if Kenny took over Maki. There's actually an answer to this, in that he doesn't know what would happen. Well, I guess there's an indirect answer to this. He doesn't know if he'd be able to leave, because he has no curse energy. So from that, I think we can pull the fact that Kenjaku has curse energy has to use cursed energy to use his brain technique, which is kind of a given. It is a cursed technique after all.
Oh, really? I thought Gege just said it wouldn't work because he doesn't have cursed
Did they?
energy.
I thought it was that he was worried to attempt it.
I don't remember the exact interview because I thought that it was like for Gojo he just never had the opportunity because Gojo was too strong, but Toji it just straight up wouldn't work because Toji's body is weird.
What are your that's true. I mean, I can kind of agree with that. But also, like there are a lot of Gege quotes that I kind of forget about sometimes, and I don't have the exact notes on them, or they're buried somewhere in like 50 folders.
Oh, same here.
Mr. Sinch asks, what are your thoughts on Yuki being Yuji's maternal aunt? And as we know that students in JJK can sometimes feel like they're foster kids, hence Toto calling Yuji his brother. I don't think Yuji has any family members in Jujutsu High. I think the closest family member to Yuji are probably Sukuna and Kenjaku.
Yep. I think Kaori has some history because of the fact she just has an anti-gravity technique on her own. But other than that, we don't know what her family is about. I don't think Yuki is related to her because I'm gonna be real, I think Yuki just spawned out of nowhere. I don't think Yuki has parents.
Yeah, I don't think Yuki's gonna be related to Yuji. I don't think Yuji's gonna have any major parental reveal that doesn't have, some setup. Like Sukuna just feels like that's something people are expecting here. Yuki would feel a little out of left field. A lot of things would feel a little bit out of left field for Yuki's parentage. Mm-hmm. I have seen some wild theories on Yuji's parents. Theories I won't even repeat here. But that's just the nature of Jujutsu Kaisen.
I know what theories you're talking about. We're not going to talk about those.
How do I feel about speed scaling in JJK? I don't know what speed scaling is. It was No Op doing something like that with Broken Ronin the other day.
Were they?
You're gonna have to fill me in on that, Bear Bevel.
Yeah. Like, are you talking cross-verse or are you talking inverse?
I think he's talking about inverse. And the Mirror of the Bifrost. Oh man, that's a good goated God of War reference. What do you think Hakari's chances of getting past Urame are? I see Urame killing him and then Maki immediately killing Urame. I trust in Hakari. In Hakari, we stand.
Yep.
Urame kind of needs to eat dirt. They are just the worst. They're worse than Sukuna in like a completely different way. Like at least Sukuna, you love to hate. Urame, you just hate.
Yeah. And I do not like that Smurf. That Smurf needs to die.
Yeah, that Smurf. That halfling. That halfling sorcerer.
Bruh.
What do you think of Yuta having the last finger and eating it to learn the world-ending slash? To kill Sukuna, he has seen it in action, and if we assume Yuta needs to eat a part of the person to learn copy. I don't think... I'm gonna go full hot take here again. I don't think Yuta... I think Yuta will have a big moment, but I don't think Yuta is going to have a enormous role as the ender of any of the major villains. Well, I mean, I take that back because he did kind of just end Kenjaku, but I think that's the biggest thing he's going to do on a plot scale. Maybe not on a power scaling scale, if that makes any sense.
Yep. Also, Yuta doesn't exactly have a strong enough body to contain Sukuna because he's a weaker than physically average body. And, like, for that being a vessel, there's a huge thing around being, like, a soul and having a strong enough soul to contain it. And
I would give Yuta the benefit of the doubt. I think he might be able to eat a finger.
I could see that
because Yuta does have the anime protagonist MC willpower, the shonen protag willpower.
One protection that I couldn't think of. The protagonist.
Yeah, the protagonist energy.
Damn.
Yeah, people really underestimate the protagonist energy, but they win every time. It's crazy.
Yeah, no matter what sacrifice, they always win.
Why does everyone want Yuta to beat Sukuna? He is in the MC, and he hasn't been ever since he got dropped as the MC years ago. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Tostado. Like, Yuta isn't the MC anymore in JJK, but he is a legacy character, and people expect more from him because of that. And he also has his own cool movie. And like, let's be real. Up until JJK season 2 came out, JJK 0 was like the most cleanly animated piece of JJK, which is saying a lot.
Agreed. It's also just an entire thing of character. People like the protagonist who is starting out incredibly strong and has a lot of dubs. Type.
Oh yeah, I think some people absolutely just love a character because they're powerful, completely irrelevant of their character.
Yep. Why do you think anime like Anno's Foldy Gold's anime has stayed around for so long? I don't even remember its name.
Let's see. Hakari's not going to die, but I do predict him and Maki and or Yuta are going to jump the fuck out of him. Yeah. I'm kind of there. I'm there. They're all going to jump.
I still want to know, where is Maki right now? Because that's something I think is really important.
She's waiting to chop off a Sukuna arm.
Yep. Even though the perfect time to do that would have been in the domain.
Yeah, it would have been in the domain, but she's waiting to chop off a Sukuna arm.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee Sukuna's got all these extra arms. One of them's going away. I mean, I know he kind of chopped off his own hand last chapter, but we got to go, we need a true chop, if you feel me.
Yep, true loss of the arms.
A true chop. Like, that's the JJK rite of passage.
We need Sukuna to be unarmed.
Yes, disarm Sukuna.
Yes.
Quirkless, what do you think Yuta's domain would be? Now, that's an interesting question, because Rika, in a lot of ways, Rika is directly tied to Yuta's technique, and the hand sign, don't quote me on this, because it was a long time ago when I was planning a video, but the Rika technique, like the Rika symbol, is like or the domain symbol is a symbol of a man-eating demon, female demons, for Yuta's hand sign. So I imagine it's Ultra Rika, or something to that effect.
I could see that.
Like if he has a time limit, a buffed version of his copy alongside a buffed Rika. I hope it's cool. Like, I really do think if we're going to see a domain, it's going to be Yuta's.
100%.
And to get to the super chat, Christian Martinez donates $10. Thank you very much. I'm late. Do you think Kaori is from the same family as the woman that birthed Choso and his brothers? I think it's a mix of that and Sukuna's family line. Oh, the family trees in JJK are so hard to make an accurate prediction on, just because we don't have a lot of information on them, and there are certainly arguments that Kenjaku, he has just been around, and he gets up to some freaky stuff. But overall...
Does that make Choso Yuji's great-great-uncle, while also making him still his brother?
I don't want to delve too deep into the family lines, because they get really weird depending on what theory you're going with.
Agreed.
Like, if Sukuna is Kenjaku's original body's son with Tengen, which is another theory, that would make Sukuna, they're still technically brothers. But that also means that, like, Kenjaku is, like, Tengen is, like, his great-great-great, like, kind of related to him in some ways. Like, not directly, but...
Yep. But to add my thing into the theory, I think Kaori and like that woman are probably like, I could see them potentially being from the same clan, kinda, like same family that just ended up disappearing because of the entire Kenjaku being Kenjaku. So that's what happened. But I don't know.
Oh, it's I don't have any super strong feelings either way towards it, but it is an interesting question. And once again, thank you very much, Christian, for the support.
Yeah.
A Quirkless Shinobi, do you think Kenjaku's death will unleash all the special grade curses, including Mahito? Before I read the rest of this, Mahito is gone. Okay, Mahito got bald and got extracted and died. He's gone forever.
And launched at Miwa with Kusakabe blocking it.
Was he launched at Miwa?
Yeah, that was part. The anime shows that it was Mahito who's the Maximum Uzumaki.
Oh, I'm gonna sound like a fraud, but my Crunchyroll subscription ran out, and I haven't seen the last 2 episodes.
Bruh.
I watched them. I watched parts of them on YouTube. I did watch all the Skyfall edits of Yuji.
Of course, the only important part.
The endless Skyfall edits.
Of course, Sky Falls.
Let's see if Bear Bevel actually said anything about the speed scaling. Oh, speed scaling. Like the literal speed scaling. I am an idiot. I am sorry. Not like how fast are the characters. Sukuna being faster than light because of Kashimo abilities and whatnot. Nobody in JJK is faster than light.
Yep.
I don't really care to get into it right now, but like the people that think they're faster than light need to look at more than one panel.
All I'm going to say is this: if you believe any character in JJK is faster than light, then they have Black Flash mastery.
They should have Black Flash mastery. You have fire extinguishers exploding faster than light. There are so many anti-feats that put them... First of all, faster than light breaks the universe in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And there are so many anti-feats to the contrary that I don't really know what you're getting out of that besides cross versus scaling, if you want to put them in another battle.
Yeah. The highest I've ever, I can see is light speed reaction time, but nothing more than that.
You are a fraud for not watching the last 2 episodes. I am. I am sorry. I am a fraud. I watched the YouTube edits. Does that count?
Yeah. Choso went nuts.
I did watch the Yuji Mahito fight.
Yeah. That fight was great. I loved it.
It was an excellent fight.
The anime perfected it. And they made Mahito a little bit stronger, too, which is actually a surprise for me.
Jalamoth's 3rd JJK Iceberg video dropped. Actually, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing this up, Micah. Jalamoth is a fellow YouTuber, excellent YouTuber, makes some great content. I have done one collaboration with him, in part for a chapter review on No Ops channel months ago. But you should check out his content. Really nice guy. I'll even put a link to that. And also check out Eternal Flames content, because he makes great stuff. Really, subscribe to anyone but me.
No, you subscribe to Quirkless.
I'll put a link to... Good. Jalamoth makes great content. And so do you, of course.
And so do you.
Here's a link to Jalamoth's channel. At Quirkle Shinobi, at Eternal Flames, Sukuna dodged electromagnetic waves by Kashimo, and that is the speed of light. Well, even in the panel, I mean, first of all, abilities in JJK have a spark. There was nothing that ever said that the thing he actually shot at him was even the he does shoot electromagnetic waves, but that's not even a named attack that he did against him. And even if it was, there's a spark of the ability before it even goes off, and it was like a pinpoint, and it's a panel. It's like one panel, and it doesn't even fit with the rest of the universe.
On top of that, we don't know if it was a sound attack or a light attack, because it could have been either. That's
yeah. I mean, he has slower attacks as well. Yeah, and jumping on that 1 feet as faster than light. It's like, what do you really get out of that? Like, what does JJK get by being faster than light? I mean, there's a lot of broken stuff it gets, like black flashes. A microsecond should be nothing to you if you are a faster than light character.
Yep, especially considering everyone uses cursed energy to amplify their speeds or battle. And it's not like everybody's using the Divergent Fist, which is just delayed cursed energy. So, yeah.
Subscribing to Quirkless out of pity.
Bruh.
Thank you, Plank. You keep me going.
Mm-hmm. And finally, just to put it, this entire point into the dust, it's very clear, at least to me, Sukuna aim dodged it, because there's a straight up panel of Kashimo's hand literally in his face. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know some cross versus power scalers are going to use that for, oh, this character is this fast, but fights in general are so boring if you just say this character gets bodied because X character is faster. It's just upscale them or downscale them, or speed equalize, because really at the end of the day, a versus battle is either a bunch of fanboys going at each other's throats, or you're just trying to think of a cool fight.
Yep.
Those are pretty much your 2 options, right?
Yep, 100%.
Because I think Sukuna and Gojo are really cool characters in a fight, but just saying they die upon instant speed blitz, even if it's true, that kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's why Sukuna's holding back right now.
Aaron asked, in your last video, you said you foresee the series lasting until the end of the year or even into 2025. How many and what stories/plot points are there really? Well, that's an excellent question. Because, well, first of all, there's the Yuji backstory, there's the Heian era backstory, there's the results of the merger. There are a lot of character arcs to tie up a little bit here. I mean, Yuji's is the biggest one, Megumi's is the biggest one. I know some people disagree with me that Megumi is coming back, but just trust me, bro. we'll see Megumi again eventually, even if for like a chapter. But as far as it's not necessarily there are a ton of plot points left. It's that with the break schedule of Gege Akutame, I just think this series is going to push a little bit further than they expected because it's already done that like twice before.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think the series is going to go much longer than I think they will. There's just so much that's like being planned out. Like, there's so much story potential that it would be a shame if it like ended this year, or at least early this year.
What the hell is the merger? It is the giant curse. It is the combination of Tengen as an ascended curse spirit thing with the rest of Japan to create an ultra creature or something else.
Yep.
Megumi took like 15 minutes of Gojo's domain. That man is dead. Gojo's domain does not have the same effect on a sorcerer as it does a normal person. And also, all the characters in the series still think he's alive. And I'm going to trust them more, to be honest.
And for evidence of that, Mimiko and Naniko got hit by the 0.2 second domain. They recovered fine.
Yeah, sorcerers recover pretty fast. Megumi's not dead. I mean, if he were dead, you'd think the characters in the story who are still trying to save him would say something.
Yep. But yeah, no.
But they're still trying to save him. They still think he's alive.
Sorcerer just recover fast.
Even Gojo knew that he took the Unlimited Void, and Gojo didn't say anything about Megumi dying. And even 5 minutes after that, they say, "Oh, has he forgotten about saving Megumi? He's not dead." It's a ridiculous thing to say. He died to the 15-minute Gojo domain. Like, nobody in the story says that. That's just pure headcanon.
Yeah, no one's even concerned or worried about that.
Yeah, the only people that think Megumi are dead are not in the story.
Yep, the people who were worried that like Megumi died was only when Gojo was actually starting to go like much harder in terms of physical offense.
Not they thought he was going to body him.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know where the Megumi dead agenda. You think this guy's been gone for like 100 chapters and like put underground, buried, and like they salted his grave? But he's only been gone for like 30 chapters. Gojo's gone for like 100. Over 100.
Yeah.
How would Kenjaku know what Tengen said to Yuki about the Culling Games? Kenny said Tengen was hiding something. But Kenny said, well, Kenjaku's known Tengen for a long time. And Kenjaku and Tengen in general is kind of this, I wouldn't say she's good. She's not really evil, but she's kind of like, she's probably done some messed up things in the past. Even characters like Principal Yaga think the whole merger with the Star Plaza vessel is a little bit questionable.
Yep.
So when
I also think
when
continue. Choso encounters Kenny, he straight up tells him what he thinks his plan is in their fight before they actually start fighting.
Yeah, that's true. And when it comes to Kenjaku and Tengen, it seems like they all work together. I mean, we pretty much know that for a fact that they work together. But Kenjaku in general, he's just kind of like he was about to blow the lid on what Tengen's been hiding for everybody. And Tengen has always been this character that's kind of told half-truths. Like, oh, I just have the back of the prison realm. Oh, the prison realm vanished 8 years ago. Yeah, she's shady. Tengen is shady.
I don't trust the thumb for a second.
No, I don't trust her at all. And even Gojo and Geto in Hidden Inventory thought, oh, we might have to kill Tengen. We might have to fight Tengen because Tengen is an enigmatic figure that is pretty much not even present in Jujutsu society beyond like this ancient creature that steals the bodies of young women to elongate their own life, and everybody thinks that this is awful, and even Sukuna probably thinks this is a little gross. Yeah. Like, Sukuna would do a lot of things, but Sukuna, he probably would merge with somebody for like 1,000 years.
I could see that being the case. But at the same time, Sukuna also finds what Kenjaku did to make Yuji creepy. Which, it makes so many questions pop up of what did this man do?
Yeah, it's a good point. I low-key feel like Tengen is a bad guy. Maybe not evil per se, but one who wouldn't stop it from happening, which is sus. I think that's a perfect way of explaining it, actually, Tostado. That Tengen is the kind of person that would sit by on the sidelines and watch awful things happen, as long as they don't directly affect them.
Yep, 100%. I don't trust Tengen for a second, and neither should you guys.
It would be great to see Maki show up with a broken piece of the inverted sphere of heaven. In myth, it is sealed in the Sakurajima, if I'm not mistaken, which is where Maki was in the Culling Games. Even if it wasn't sealed in the Sakurajima, it could just be like a little bit of a play on the myth where Gojo comes back and Maki was in Sakurajima and he gives it to her and it's kind of like, oh, she got it from Sakurajima because now she's worthy of it because she got her enlightenment. I think that'd be kind of a cool play on it.
That'd be a really cool way. I could see Gege doing that because Gege doesn't like usually follow mythologies like one to one.
It would also explain why they don't have Maki out there, because if she does have the inverted spear that Gojo sealed, you don't want Sukuna getting his hands on that.
100%. Like it could be like a last second type thing, last moment.
Sukuna would be incredibly dangerous with it.
Oh, 100%.
Because he can already fight without his curse technique.
Yeah. That'd be terrifying, jeez.
I wonder if it nullifies a domain. Curious. Like you stab it into the barrier.
It might nullify that part of the domain, but like I don't see nullifying the overall domain.
They say it's the nullification of curse technique, which is so oddly specific.
Yeah.
Like if it was just curse energy, I think that'd be even a more brutal effect.
Oh god, that'd be terrifying.
China Doll donates $10. Thank you very much. Saying, my prediction is that the next two chapters might be when we finally see Sukuna eat someone or Yuta gets stitches. I hope Yuta doesn't get stitches. Okay. Listen, I am well known as a middling Yuta fan. Okay, but of all the things, of all the ways to end Yuta's life, having him get bodied by a disembodied head at like the strongest version of this character, can you imagine how powerful Kenjaku would be if he bodied Yuta as a head?
The memes would never end.
This guy was struggling against Yuki and Choso together. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, it wasn't a ridiculous struggle, but he was get pushed in a few cases. There were points where the narration says, oh, it would have killed her if her output wasn't weakened. And for this guy to just be like, oh, let me just 180 this whole situation and body Yuta as a brain.
Oh god.
Ridiculous.
Memes about Yuta would never end.
Yeah, Yuta fans would be mad, and honestly, they'd be rightfully mad, because that would be the greatest fodderization of a strong character.
100%. Especially considering how much importance Yuta has to the actual narrative itself.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, Yuta's completely responsible for everything happening.
Yeah, in a few ways. I think Yuta is an interesting character for that reason, and I still like his fight in JJK0, even if the power scaling of JJK0 is a little goofy. I think Yuta as a character, his power scaling is actually pretty legit.
Agreed.
Like, he's not too bad. He is a character that escaped the wacky stuff of JJK0 for the most part.
Yep, all because he had a year-long time skip at Miguel.
Wisdom Menezes, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. Why won't Yuji have the final blow on Sukuna? Do you still think they both have something to do with each other? Oh, I think Yuji will have the final blow on Sukuna, for sure. I think that's his whole plan. I think that's kind of guaranteed to happen.
Agreed.
And they're pretty much, and I think they're intrinsically linked to each other. I don't think there can be, even Kenjaku says, that them coexisting together, that's the whole plan. What that means to its full extent, we'll have to wait and see. But in general, yeah, Yuji and Sukuna, they are the main characters of Jujutsu Kaisen, along with Megumi. It's those three.
Yep. The main and most important characters. Though it does also make me have some questions. You know how Sukuna considers him boring, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't he just full on kill him instead of just cleaving his little side?
I have a lot of questions about why Sukuna is doing what he's doing. I'm assuming we're gonna get some pretty big answers to them. While there is the overhanging idea that Sukuna's technique might have this massive stipulation we don't know about, it could also just be that this guy is stalling for something.
Yeah. It could be the day Kenjaku actually wants things to happen is December 25th and not December 24th, so he's just going to fight all of them till December 25th.
Tengen was carrying Yuki during that fight. Yuki gets a low diff by Kenjaku without her. I mean, even Kenjaku said that the fight would have been less boring if she had opened her domain instead of trusting that thing. So it probably would have still been difficult in other ways. Kenjaku is not Sukuna. He is powerful. He does have an incredible domain. But Yuki does have the output by narration to put him down.
He also doesn't seem to have a domain that like naturally attack the barriers like Sukuna has one.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a gravity crush on it, and we might see his barrier again. But as far as we know, the only barrier feat Kenjaku ever gets is during that fight. It's the only domain feat.
True.
Do you think Sukuna morphing his body to chomp on angels part of his curse technique or something else entirely? I think it's probably part of his curse technique. I mean, just in general, Sukuna's technique probably revolves around cannibalism in some ways.
Agreed. I wouldn't be surprised at that.
Top 10 boring characters. 1, Mei. 2, Maki. 3, Maki. All right, that's enough. We're not reading the rest of that comment. Kusake. Who's Kusake? Is that Kusakabe?
I think they made Kusakabe, and by that,
all right, yeah, they're already. That's one of the worst things I've read all day.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing. Tyree Canty donates $5. Thank you very much. Saying, do y'all think that Gojo is truly dead? It is crazy to off-screen him and leave the story like that. Yeah, I think Gojo's really dead. I think Gojo has truly been bodied, and whether or not you like it, you like the way it happened. Personally, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I wanted to see Four Arms fight Sukuna. But, you know, it is what it is in that scenario. I didn't hate the death entirely, and I am not going to be the one to convince somebody who hates it to love it. That's just, you know, your experience with media is going to be different from mine. All I can do is give my opinion.
Like, for me, I don't even think we need to just see Gojo's death. I'm very satisfied with how he went out. Because he's satisfied. He got a happy death.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a little bit more of him. I can't lie. I mean, the Hollow Purple theme song, dead ass, the whole reason I started reading JJK. I was my friend was deadlifting and the song auto played, and he was like, "Dude, this is a banger." I was like, "What's this from?" And that's how I started watching JJK. That's true story.
Y'all got Quirkless Shinobi as a YouTuber purely because of the gym and the Hollow Purple theme.
Yeah, the Hollow Purple, mainly the Hollow Purple theme.
Yeah,
that is a great workout song too. Hollow Purple, especially the remix by Samuel Kim, great workout song, excellent.
100%.
Would suggest. Also, self-embodiment perfection. It's all good. JJK has a banger soundtrack.
Yep, easily one of the best parts of it, especially like Remember as well, which is like the Choso one. Like Choso versus Yuji song, as well as the Bar one.
So Christian Martinez donates another $10. Thank you so much, Christian. Asking, Sukuna says, "You should have burned everything you desire to a cinder without thinking." In the same panel, the word hunger is in bold. Do you think that's alluding to his past and his fallen title? That's actually, I'm glad you brought this up. When he says, like, you have that hunger. Sukuna in general, I think he gave up something tremendous to gain this power. I think, like, him being the Fallen, he was probably a prodigy his entire life. He just kind of gives that vibe. But he also seems somebody who is wholly unable to stay where they are. They have to achieve a greater height. And that's why when he says things like, "You should have burned everything you knew to a cinder. You should have just done whatever it takes and compared yourself to nobody." Because while Sukuna was probably a prodigy, I don't think he was the strongest his entire life. So at some point, he stopped comparing himself to others, and he did whatever it took, no matter how abhorrent, no matter how unnatural, to get stronger.
Yeah. Kind of agree. I don't think Sukuna was a prodigy. I think Sukuna had a brother, and he, like, the forbidden act he did was basically kill and absorb his brother. That's how I think he got powerful. Basically pulling a Maki with Mai, except it was intentional.
Is the shrine in his stomach? I agree with that. I do think he was a prodigy. I mean, I disagree with that part, but as far as his brother is concerned, yeah, I pretty much agree that Sukuna had a brother. Whether or not it's Yuji, we'll find out, but he definitely has some I'm pissy about my place growing up vibes.
God. Sukuna just has younger brother energy.
I mean, he does have younger brother energy or older brother energy. Either way, he has like the kind of vibe that my sibling overshadowed me, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Or something. It's something. He's a grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man.
He's a depressed, self-hating, hedonistic old man. Bruh. Yeah, he threw away his humanity. Yeah, it's pretty solid way to put it.
Yeah. I still want to know what he did.
JJK editor says multiple crazy things are about to happen in the next 2 chapters. I mean, I could have told you without any editing or translated tweets that some crazy things were going to happen in the next 2 chapters. I mean, look at where JJK is at.
Yeah.
It's like there's a knife. There is a knife literally mid-air headed for Sukuna, and the editor's like, guys, crazy things are going to happen next. Really? You don't say.
Bruh. Someone just said Sukuna is Kokoshibo from Demon Slayer. That makes too much sense.
Kokoshibo.
Kokoshibo.
Fill me in. You watched Demon Slayer.
Long story short, right? Kokoshibo is Yorichi's younger brother. Yorichi's god. Kokoshibo's talented, but not as good as his brother. So he became a demon out of spite.
A demon out of spite. Yeah, that might actually sound like Sukuna.
Yeah.
And also, if Yuji is his brother, and Yuji was a prodigy where Sukuna was somebody who had to learn things, like, at a slower pace, it would explain why he hates him so much now. And if they are the same person, if they're twins, because, twins are biologically almost effectively the same person, it would also explain why he says these lines like, there's not an interesting bone in that body, because it's him.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like the brother theory. I always do. And until it's confirmed unrealistic and completely gone, I'm going to hold on to it.
100%.
Sukuna respects the strong. That's true, but he also goes out of his way to hate Yuji, even though Yuji has done things he would praise other people for.
And the funny thing is, that's only when Yuji is like the active person, because like I recently found this. After Yuji loses to Choso, Sukuna, when Yuji's knocked out, straight up says, "How could you lose to Riffraff like that?" He straight up thought Yuji should not have been able to lose to Choso. He thought he should have won.
Yeah. 27 says, the Hollow Purple theme was part of my workout playlist back in 2021, along with the Warhammer Titan theme. Warhammer Titan theme, Attack on Titan, also an excellent workout playlist. I can't lie. Anime music really does come out with some bangers sometimes. What can I say? I think JJK, I'm going to tangent on this because I love JJK's soundtrack, especially Season 1. JJK has one of the greatest soundtracks in anime I've heard in a long time. It gets you so hyped. Even in Season 2, while the Season 2 soundtrack goes a little more orchestral, it fits the mood so often and so well. Like, the Hollow Purple theme song is used to this day whenever Gojo is in, like, a fan animation or something else. Like, Your Battle is My Battle is one of my favorite songs. I put that in one of my first videos. I love it. It's great.
Underrated recommendation from Jujutsu Kaisen's like audio track. Listen to Nanami's theme. It's great. It's actually amazing.
You say Ron is also very good, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got lost. I got lost in my chat.
Bruh. Okay. But yeah, listen to Nanami's theme. It's really good.
Oh, 7-3. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Overtime.
It's underrated as hell, though.
I love Nanami. I love his old man face. Why did Sukuna turn himself to undergo cursed objectification? Cursed objectification. Interesting way of putting that. It's just to come 1,000 years later if it goes against his philosophy. It's an excellent question as to why Sukuna would just let himself die. Because they say that Sukuna experienced death before, and while it's not necessarily that he let himself die, him experience death at all, it begs a lot of questions. It's number one, who kills Sukuna? Because Sukuna does not look like an old person. I mean, he is an old person. But, like, I mean, look at the guy. Natural causes just don't seem to be the way this dude dies.
Agreed.
But as for why he turned himself into a cursed object, I think we get a little bit of information on that, where he says that, the taste of humans is as fleeting as it is varied. Or I think it's the opposite of that. But either way, he says that, but it is the perfect way to pass the time until I die.
Yep.
And I think that kind of sums up Sukuna in that whatever chip this guy has on his shoulder, while yes, he respects the strong, he's also just kind of miserable. He just sits there and he does what he wants until he dies. He sounds like a depressed gamer boy. That's the best way I could put it. He sounds like a depressed gamer that just sits there and is like, I'm going to do the thing I enjoy until I can't anymore.
I think Sukuna is straight up trying to find a way he can die and not come back from.
Yeah.
Because he's already come back once, and I'm under the opinion Sukuna has incarnated more than once over the past 1,000 years. Because they know way too much about how Sukuna functions as a vessel for that not to be the case, at least in my opinion. So that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, try to gather my thoughts here. You bring up a good point. You bring up an excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
I did this in the, what was it? We just had a giant merger conversation a few weeks ago. We recorded about a month ago with Zone and No Op and Fake Weeb. And No Operator was bringing up the fact that Kenjaku is ever seeking chaos. I'm kind of curious what you think about that, because I think it's a pretty interesting point. I don't hear a lot of other people bring it up that much.
I think he is seeking chaos, but not for chaos' sake. He's seeking chaos for just overall evolution of the world, because he just wants to see the path humanity can take when it's drastically changed from a new starting point, basically restarting humanity to create this new world.
That's an interesting take. It might be, yeah. It might be forced evolution, unless a big thing other people talk about.
Yeah.
Didn't Sukuna tell Kashimo that he came back to prove love is worthless, or as I like to say it, love is trash? It is interesting that Sukuna says, do not be fooled. Love is worthless. He sounds so bitter. And I think that's an interesting part about his character in general, is that there is this bitterness to everything he does. Where Sukuna is, 90% of the time, he is laughing at you. He is malicious, and he is just a murderous freak, effectively. Like someone you never want to be around. But in his quiet moments, in those seconds, there are some things in the story that legitimately piss him off. And you see him have that face. He makes the same face, and I'll try to see if I can find it. But in chapter 214, when Yuji asks him, why can't you just live your life? And again in chapter 237, when Kashimo dies, he has a face where he just gets totally stalwart, and he looks like he's just pissed off at the other person, and he's bitter about the fact that, no, you have to understand that nothing is worthwhile, life sucks, and you should just do what you want. It's ridiculous. Right, he's offended. He is offended at the idea that other people could go around enjoying their lives as weaklings because he couldn't. That's what it sounds like to me, anyways.
That's why I think Sukuna was... that's the main reason I don't think Sukuna was actually a prodigy. Because I think he was someone who had to suffer because he was weak. And then he made himself strong. And he doesn't like the fact that people can now live through the circumstances he had to live through and be happy.
Yeah, it's like an old person. It's like these youngins. These youngins are having fun. I never got to have fun. Back in my day, Kenjaku beat me.
Bro.
Back in my day, we had to learn domain expansions all on our own. We didn't have a 6 eyes teacher.
Back in my day, we were thrown into curse pits.
We didn't have a giant warehouse of curse tools. We had to make our own.
That really is Sukuna's energy.
Yeah, Sukuna does have some old man energy.
Yeah, and someone just brought this up that was really interesting, because in the anime, Sukuna makes that same face after he kills Jogo.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there is maybe I'm looking too deep into it. I have been known to do that. But we'll find in chapter 214, if I pull up the image, I'm going to dig for this, so give me a second. Flame cover for me.
Alright, bet. So y'all want to hear about how Yuji's soul is all Jujutsu Kaisen? Kidding.
Where's
Okay.
oh, perfect. This is the one.
Yeah. I had to eat my damn brother to get stronger and learn Falling Blossom Emotion before our 11th birthday.
Yeah, that's the Falling Blossom emotion. Excellent, an excellent ability, underrated ability. Still useful against Malevolent Shrine. I mean, that's kind of crazy, if you ask me.
100%. It's nuts. Like, so many good domain counters that should be learned. I will still be surprised if Yuji does not have simple domain. I'm gonna admit that.
Oh, I think I mean, simple domain at this point. I feel like some people are just hating on Yuji. Just give him like we really think a blood squirt gun is gonna be the difference. Okay, you think like giving Yuji blood manipulation, like, oh no, Yuji has blood manipulation. That thing that Sukuna literally slapped away. Just give it to him.
Yeah. Oh no, he slapped away the strongest blood manipulation attack, piercing blood. Oh no.
Yeah, it's like just give him RCT and give him blood manipulation, and he still dies. Like it's not like he's getting handouts here. RCT.
Yep, like, what do you think? If he
RCT just means you live.
Yeah.
Like, look what happened to the guys of that RCT. They lost their arms in like 2 seconds.
Or they got waffled.
Yeah, waffles, dude.
Waffles.
Man. Quirkless, who do you think has better durability between Gojo and Sukuna? Well, considering Sukuna tanked a Hollow Purple twice, and one of them was the strongest Hollow Purple, probably Sukuna. I don't know if Gojo could take, and then Gojo died to one slash. Granted, Sukuna would die to that same slash. If Superman would die to that slash, anyone would die to that. I mean, assuming they got hit.
Oh boy. Yep.
I mean, it's a world-cutting slash. It just cuts the space.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a reality warper or like a spatial manipulation dude. I think you just get
4D
chopped.
being. But
But like, it's gotta be Sukuna. He ate everything. Gojo used literally everything he could against him and failed to kill him.
He ate a black flash, like a blue enhanced black flash.
Like, they both pulled out their strongest ability, but one of them killed the other one.
Yep. Oh yeah, he took a black flash and then he took a red to the back.
He opened up by taking the strongest the first purple's gotta be like the strongest attack in the series besides a black hole. Black hole probably kills him, but black hole kills everything.
Yeah,
like that took some shenanigans to get around.
Yep. Some tomfoolery.
Hot take, but 95% of Gojo's durability is infinity, and Toji proved that single-handedly. I don't know if I'd go that far. Gojo did tank him a leveled shrine. And whether or not...
I mean, to be fair, he was healing most of it.
That's true, but, I mean, look what happened to the Finger Bearer. That guy got turned into, like, a collapsed Lego tower.
I mean, yeah, that's the Finger Bearer, though.
Yeah. I mean, most people are a Finger Bearer to Sukuna.
You know, that's a fair point.
I mean, most people are just a diced tomato waiting to happen.
You know, I still find it funny the Finger Bearer actually does solo a good chunk of people, despite because like they're grade 1.
He didn't really tank that Black Flash. Bro was literally snoozing. Yeah, well, I mean, Gojo's asleep forever. I think one of them's a lot worse.
I'm just saying, he still lived through it.
I mean, he lived through everything, and, like, even if it was, Sukuna said the Hollow Purple is weakened by the time it got to him. I don't think that's what he said. I think he said that it was, I think he said that it was, I think he simply said the distance it was. I don't think he said it meant it was weaker. It caught him off guard. He said it caught him off guard and took his reinforced arms due to that.
I'm now thinking on who I think is like the most durable character behind Sukuna in the verse.
Like, I see a lot of people talk about the snoozing Sukuna. It's like the guy was up, summoned Maharaga immediately after, and was up. His durability is ridiculous.
Sukuna's nuts.
Do I think Yuki lost a plot armor? Yeah, you want to talk about plot armor in JJK, okay? Yuki is the greatest receiver of the convenient curse technique.
Yep.
Like, there is no other way that Kenjaku was living with what he has showcased outside of his extremely convenient anti-gravity.
Yep.
Like, there's nobody else has shown anything to deal with that yet. Except for, like, maybe Takava.
Yep.
That was, a black hole. Like, was a black hole really necessary in Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege?
Nah.
Who would make a finer bologna or bolognese? What is that?
Bruh.
Higuruma, Kashima, or Gojo? Chunky very finally died. Definitely Kashima. He got waffled.
Yeah, it's Kashimo for sure.
Yeah. Yuki was robbed from us. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. What was I? Oh, yeah. I was looking at what Sukuna said about the Hall of Purple. That's in 235. Pretty sure. Yeah, it is. No, it's in 234. Excuse me. 234. Man, that was a time in JJK, huh?
Oh yeah.
Inevitably, these goddamn chapters sneak their way into this. And you know what they always result in? They inevitably result in a 4-paragraph comment that I half read a month later.
Bruh.
That's what happens. Because like after a while, you're like, I'm not going to convince anybody. I don't care to, but I sure like to look back.
Yeah. 2 for 5, man. That was a ton.
Yeah, the purple fire at the beginning of the fight had more than 120% output. He likely used some sort of binding vow, which he was actually wrong on. It was Urahime.
Yep.
He looked to be less than 4 kilometers away, yet even taking it head on, all I lost was both of my enhanced arms. Yeah, he doesn't say anything about it being weaker. He just says it's far away. And there's no
He also doesn't say DA.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing people say he used domain amplification to take the hollow purples. He did not. Or else Maharaga would have disappeared.
Yeah, all right. We're moving on from Gojo versus Sukuna.
Yep.
The worst. I even put a little sticky note here. It says, "Don't talk about Gojo versus Sukuna." But here we are. Here we are back.
It sneaks
once
its
again.
way back into every conversation like a cockroach.
It does sneak its way back. It's like you bring up Gojo, and then you bring up the other extremely important character, and inevitably, you get the worst thing ever, which is the conversations around Gojo versus Sukuna.
Agreed. Just let it die.
Imagine Takaba's RCT. Anything he finds horrifying / not funny becomes real.
Oh god.
That'd be pretty terrifying. That guy, that's just a horror movie waiting to happen.
Yep.
Is Yuta a fraud? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, agreed to that.
Oh yeah, 214. Share image. Oh my
yeah,
god, I'm so. My brain moves all over the place. Thank you. Luckily, some people in chat have greater attention spans than me. Where did I put this?
It's in our DMs.
Oh, that one is. We'll just put that in the...
Someone just asked, Kashima without curse technique or Toji without his tools? Who do you have winning?
Kashima without his curse technique or Toji without his tools?
Yeah.
Toji.
I got... Oh, really?
Oh, without his CT? Do we mean like his cursed energy trait?
No, I mean Kashima without his curse technique, like Phantom Beast Amber, and Toji without his tools.
Oh. Oh yeah, Kashimo. I mean, he's got the lightning, and like Toji can't even kill. Well, I mean, he can't. He just come back as a vengeful curse spirit, even if he did.
Yep.
I mean, Toji fans are gonna kill me for that one. Let's just pretend I never said anything. Let's just pretend I never said anything. It's always
y'all
Toji.
Heard nothing.
Toji
no,
wins.
that was just me. I was just doing my voice impression of Quirkless. Y'all heard nothing. He's still looking for
whenever I hear the word Toji come up, I panic because like I've read some things from Toji fans. I have seen some things. It's terrifying every time. It is terrifying every single time.
Yeah.
Not to say I don't love Toji. Toji is very cool.
Y'all are too dedicated to Toji.
Gege's dedicated to Toji. Gege's like the most dedicated Toji fan. Like they write like they were sitting there on the writing pen, putting out that his overwhelming intensity, and they're like, "This is fire." There are gonna be so many. Like they directly wrote it for the edits. There will be so many edits about this. God, I love Toji.
Toji is great. This man is obsessed.
I've legitimately seen Thirst thirst Twitter drawings of Toji that are less questionable than what Gege Akutami themselves has written.
Oh god.
Where's the finally I found a place to put it. Okay. At last we will pull up the chapter 214 image. Buffering. Here we are. Perfect. Okay. There it is. So we have a Sukuna face looking real grumpy because Sukuna's always got this massive chip on his shoulder. And just in general around Yuji, he's always a little pissed. He always seems like he's actually offended by Yuji even being in his very presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yuji is a... Let me pull up the chapter 237 image as well.
He does not like
Hopefully
Yuji.
I don't get copyrighted for this.
I mean, if you just don't have it up for too long, it should be fine.
Well, actually, I have the... That was in 237, wasn't it? Where he takes Kashimo to the little afterlife, gives him like a little picnic.
Yeah, I was in 247.
Sukuna, like, you know, imagine you get killed by the guy. I'm just waiting for the dude that doesn't even want to talk to Sukuna.
Bruh. Sukuna goes to say hi to Yuji, and then Yuji just kicks him out of heaven.
Like you're finally dead, and you're like, thank God I never have to deal with Sukuna again. And you just see this guy like, hey there, soldier.
Hey champ, how you
Hey
doing?
champ, I'm still here. And you're like, oh my God.
Leave me alone.
Let's see if what are your thoughts on Sukuna knowing and comparing Maharaga's ability to Yamato no Orochi, considering Yamato no Orochi is even older? Yamato no Orochi, first of all, Yamato no Orochi in Japanese mythology is one of the coolest monsters, in my opinion. This giant 8-headed serpent that had to be put down by the god Susanoo. And whatever it was in JJK, I'm assuming it was either a curse spirit, Shikigami, or a sorcerer itself. Probably a Shikigami. Just by the fact he compares it to a Shikigami.
No, he said it's a cursed spirit.
Did he?
Yeah. He says its ability is similar to the cursed spirit Yamato no Orochi.
Can I fact check? Somebody fact check this.
Yeah, I'll fact check this one.
I made a lot of videos that talk about Yamato no Orochi, especially when I started. Anybody who's been here since like video the first month, they heard a lot about Yamato no Orochi.
I think it's 125 where they fight against. No, that's Nobara's stuff. 116. Okay.
I think Shoko is conveniently absent after Gojo's supposed death, but that's just a theory, a copium theory. Yeah, rip MatPat. See, MatPat was right in his video that that's just a game theory is so ever present. It is just everywhere in every community.
Yep. MatPat inspired my entire way I do videos when it comes to theories. So, y'all have him to blame for that.
He's a smart guy, for sure. Really, even if people don't like him, he's definitely... Even before he was doing YouTube, he was in like what? He was in like analytics. That dude was making...
Oh, never mind. He doesn't say curse spirit. I thought he did say curse spirit.
Yeah, it's just similar to Yamato no Orochi.
Well, just fighting against a cursed spirit, like a sorcerer who just had a Shikigami that was the Yamato no Orochi now.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is if it was like a Yamato no Orochi curse spirit.
Yeah.
Or a Shikigami that somebody else summoned that could like regen its heads like a Hydra or something. That'd be pretty cool. Can you imagine?
Sick.
That thing's pretty big. Okay, giant sea monsters, alright. As somebody who's not particularly fond of the idea of deep water and the monsters within, a giant serpent inside said thing, listen, don't throw me into a Hydra. Of all the things, like, I'd rather have to run from Sukuna. Legitimately. I'd rather have to run from Sukuna than, like, wade in a pool where, like, there's a Hydra within a certain radius of me.
Nah. Sukuna will be torturous. I'd rather not deal with that.
on the topic of Sukuna incarnating across the ages, I always found it weird that a curse, a spiritual entity, managed to impregnate the mother of the womb paintings. Yeah, that is definitely a alarming piece of information from Kenjaku, and honest to God, I really hope they never expand on it.
Agreed.
I don't need more details. Sometimes less is more.
And that's a case of less is more. We do not need to know more about that.
I'm just going to assume it was a very PG cursed energy transfusion.
Yeah, just like Fate.
Just like Fate. I've definitely watched Fate. I know exactly what you're talking about. Any final theories for Sukuna's curse technique? At this point, I've talked about this thing so much. I thought it was coming during the Gojo fight, but here we are, months later, into 2024, and Sukuna is just sitting on this thing.
Yeah, we've not even gotten close. I want to hear what it is.
I'm curious with the black boxes. I'm curious if I hope it's something to do with Jujutsu mastery, because that kind of seems to be Sukuna's whole shtick. I've always thought it'd be cool if Sukuna didn't even have his own curse technique.
Same, but that is
And it was just a Jujutsu manipulation.
I wish that was the case. That'd be really sick.
I mean, we don't know if he actually got it confiscated. It confiscated the curse tool. Theory's still alive.
It can still live for now.
Kirklos, who do you think Toji can beat in the Culling Games? A lot of people. There's a lot of fodder in the Culling Games. So I guess that's why they call it the Culling Games. But there's a lot of fodder in the Culling Games, and there's like 2 guys that are worth something. Including Yorzu. Yorzu's perfect sphere collapses Toji. Yorzu's top of the Heian era in output. So that should put her as fast, and like, I don't know how fast we think Toji is, but she's got to be fast if she's top output.
Yep, 100%.
I don't know if she's Sukuna fast, because he was, intentionally eating a fist in his face. Which
basically, she also fought like Uro, or like not Uro, but like Uro level people, and like an entire squad of them. Like she still damaged Yuta.
238 image, please. Thank you again for reminding my my God. I have the internet's really ruined my attention span. What can I say? Yeah. Sometimes, like, if you guys heard my recording process in the video, you'd be like, my God, what is wrong with this person? I re-record the same line like 7 times. Every time. Sometimes I'm out of breath. I remember when I asked you, Flame, like, bro, do you get out of breath when you record your videos? And you're like, never. And I actually felt offended. I was like, oh my God, I'm just weird.
I mean, I record differently than I think a lot of people do, because I record like in little segments and then I stop. Because I don't record just straight. Like I record.
Yeah, like, you go in.
Yeah.
Here, let me. Even before I post it up on the screen. Tell me, Flame. Right. Do these 2 images look similar?
Let me see. Yes, they do. Like even the look he gives, it looks so. Especially the eyes when you look at it, because like the eyes themselves look so empty.
Oh, I'll throw it up for everybody else. And also, I want to let everybody know, Flame here was kind enough to come on, but he will have to leave soon, so it will be just me.
All right, it's been a lot of fun, everybody.
I guess he has to leave now. Okay. Yeah. Subscribe to Eternal Flame, and thank you very much for coming on. So I didn't have to. That's very kind of you. But seriously, guys, thank you. Subscribe to Eternal Flame, and thank you for coming on, man.
No problem.
I'm sure you'll be on again. Take it easy, dude.
Peace out, everybody, and 100%. Have fun.
Okay. It's just me now. Pressure's on. So even though it was a mistranslation... hold on, let me read the original of this. Not gonna lie, 10,000 binding vows for weapons is crazy. Even if it's a mistranslation. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Is Flame leaving to play Lethal Company? Maybe. Or in the street is a definite maybe. I don't know how Maharaga blocked the perfect sphere before adapting to infinity. Oh, well, with Maharaga, he just kind of bodied. I mean, he just kind of, absorbed. Not bodied. He adapted to the technique. So by the time the perfect sphere came out, the overall ability of the perfect sphere. Let me actually end this poll. 87% of you think that Sukuna won't die. That's pretty fair. Once he's already adapted, the overall technique no longer took hold to Mahoraga. We saw that with Blue as well, with Gojo. That once he has this technique adapted to, he just ignores it, like, outright. Its effects don't matter. He breaks reality, effectively. In that, that very selective case. Y'all think Uro is going to come back somehow? Probably to get bodied. It's my official explanation on that one. Let me pull up this picture for wisdom here. Perfect Sphere should have had another spin because it's almost as complex as Infinity. Actually, it's the opposite. Sukuna said that the Perfect Sphere is not very complex at all. Or the Perfect Sphere is, but her technique is like a one trick. So it's very easy to adapt to. And 245. Interesting. Let's pull this over. Is this even the right one? Okay, let's see. What anybody else have? Let me put up a poll here. I'm curious if you guys think. Well, so someone's going off. There we go. All right, we're gonna put up a poll here to see if you guys think, will Megumi come back? I know a lot of you guys think that Megumi's just gonna eat it, which is always curious to me because Megumi is not a side character. Megumi is a exceptionally important character to JJK. He is arguably the most important character outside of Yuji as the deuteragonist of the story. And he's been gone for like 30 chapters. Not like 100. But we'll see. We'll see what people think. I'm just gonna even if people say no, I'm just gonna have to hard disagree. Because Megumi in general, Megumi's not dead. That's just the truth. I'm just gonna say it. Nobody in the story has said that. Let me get something. Who do you think is the richest JJK character? I think it's the special grades and Mei or Toji because of his job. Probably Mei now. Mei is such scum. She is such scum that I believe she voted against Gojo. How does Megumi survive Unlimited Void? Sorcerers, we've never seen a sorcerer die from Unlimited Void. We've never seen it happen. We've seen people get stunned, but the recovery for a sorcerer in general is different, and we know that's true. The risk that Gojo was running in Shibuya was executing all of these normal people. Let's get this image here. Finally pulling up the sacred text. For chapter 237 here. There we go. Oh, I'm a genius. I just replaced my own image. Well, that's one way to get it on the screen. Alright, let's take a look at the chat. The risk was from the barrier expanding and crushing people, not from the sure hit. It was both. A non-sorcerer can only handle so much time in Unlimited Void. Do you think we will see some reveal of Sukuna CT this chapter or the next one? Almost guaranteed. Definitely by the one after. Just like in general, Sukuna's CT has been hidden for so long, it might just be a nothing burger. And that is possible. I can't rule it out entirely. But overall, Sukuna's CT, it's coming. And when it does, it's probably going to be legendary. And that's what I'm hoping it is, because it not being showcased in Gojo versus Sukuna, what's the point? Like, what's the point of not showing it if it's just a nothing burger? Just have him use a fire arrow. If there's only one extra thing. I don't see the point in keeping it back. So the next chapter leak is tomorrow or on Wednesday, like the usual. There have been some interesting leaker wars because rarely there was a leaker turf war. So now leaks come out. They do still come out on Tuesday night or Tuesday morning, a little bit earlier recently. We'll see. Things have been in a little bit of a flux, but they are definitely coming out this week, as far as I know. Can Toji with tools beat Ryu, Kashimo, and/or Ryu in a 1v1? Toji. All the Toji questions. No matter what I say, I piss somebody off, dude. Okay, Toji with tools, Toji with prep time is Jujutsu Batman. I think Toji, if you give him enough time to figure out a plan, he probably can find a way to beat most people in JJK. The same way he was able to run down Gojo over the course of like X period of time, or he'll just leave. Like, Toji is certainly strong. I think the strongest aspect of Toji is how smart he is and how he uses his power set. I wouldn't say it's not like a Kenjaku smart. It's more like it's a battle smart. To be fair, Sukuna with Limitless sounds broken. Sukuna with Limitless would be unfathomably broken. All techniques given to Sukuna become worse. And by worse, I mean, better for him, worse for everybody else. Why did Sukuna bother using incantations against Higuruma? Did he have to? Was his domain amp and reinforcement that good? It might have been. Or he might have just been an asshole. And to be fair, in general, Sukuna is an asshole. And we saw that when he goes up to Higuruma, and Higuruma almost killed him. Effectively. Chops his own hand off. Like, nobody else has ever made Sukuna, intentionally cut his own arm off. And even Sukuna's like, that's a good shot, I suppose, which I just take as him being an asshole. That's who he is. Toji is one of the few characters that have mastered everything he had in his hands. Yeah, and that's why I legitimately think Toji is like the coolest character in JJK. And I can say that because Kaio Breeze isn't here. I don't think he's the strongest, far from it, but like as far as aura goes, I think Toji is just, he's fucking cool. It's hard to say it any other way. He's just cool. And there are a ton of characters who try to do what Toji does in JJK and be like this edgy, cool dude and utterly fail at it. But with Toji, it just works. That's why I like him. I want to see that face mask get ripped off of Sukuna's face in the end to reveal some weird shit. Yeah. Whatever is going on with Sukuna's noggin, I really don't know what's underneath the mask. It looks like it's hiding like some battle injury or something else. Sukuna never talks from the bottom mouth. I think it's exclusively for chanting. I mean, he says, we know he can form words with it. I think he just prefers to talk, to talk shit with his main mouth. Though it would be pretty funny if he was holding his curse tool. He's holding his curse tool in his main mouth and he uses his stomach mouth to bad talk you. Quirkless, sponge, carrot, chocolate cake, or red velvet? Pie. Never been a fan of cake. Hopefully that's not a hot take. I have a theory that the Yamato no Orochi is connected to the inverted Spear of Heaven due to something I heard. The owner of inverted Spear of Heaven had a dragon, and the fact that... I will wait for you to finish that sentence. Why do you think Gege made him a physical beast instead of a master of 10 shadows? To show how powerful Megumi could be, and an example for Megumi. Are we talking about Toji? I think we're talking about Toji here. Well, first of all, I think Toji... I like the fact that parents in JJK, they don't have a one-to-one copy of each other's techniques. This is something in Naruto. They did a little bit, but Naruto's dad uses Rasengan. And then Naruto uses Rasengan, and all these techniques are passed down. They're you can learn them, But in JJK, it's like your dad could be Timothy Timothy. He could be the strongest sorcerer of his time. But when you're born, you got to figure your own way out. And I think that's pretty true to life, that just because, even if you had a privileged birth, you have to do something with your technique because it's yours. And even if it's passed down, it's up to you to find a new way to use it. Do I follow r/Jujutsushi? I've seen it a couple times. Not really. I don't really go on Reddit that much. I usually find that the more I go on Twitter and or really any social media, my life gets worse. So I just stay away from it. Toji CT was anyone who dressed up like him during a fight loses. Yeah, that's the truth. Though, to be fair, that Toji fit tanked the Malevolent Shrine. Quirkless, if Sukuna was knocked out, Mahoraga wouldn't have come out and fought Gojo. Ten Shadows technique run from C on the user. You cut the supply and they get despawned. I mean, we've seen Ten Shadows Shikigami get despawned. I mean, I think you could definitely say Sukuna got hurt by the Black Flash. I mean, he was definitely stunned, dazed, whatever you want to call it. But like knocked out cold and on his ass? I mean, clearly not. We never saw him on his ass a single time. And even if he was, I mean, this guy had a full revive the whole time. I don't really see the point, okay? I'm not going to go deep into Gojo versus Sukuna. All right? The sticky note is still here. It says don't talk about Gojo versus Sukuna. So we're gonna follow the pre-planned stream. Gojo's RCT is so strong it was healing his fit. Now that would be something. That would be really useful for a lot of series to have like your fit revive with you. Because let's be real, after like the first Kamehameha, like a Saiyan's fit should be gone. Do you think Gege is just trolling with his writing and he's just writing to write, or do you think he's writing to convey a message? I think he's writing to convey a message. I mean, even if you don't like Jujutsu Kaisen's message, the overall theme of Jujutsu Kaisen really comes down, it comes down to 5 characters, and that would be, Megumi, Yuji, Sukuna, Gojo, and Kenjaku, but primarily Megumi, Yuji, and Sukuna. It's really to be, like, you can see it in the initial point of the main themes are brought up in JJK, is when Yuji tells the emotional conflict between Yuji and Megumi, where Yuji says, why did you save me, Megumi? And Megumi says, I save people unfairly, and Yuji will save anybody, and Sukuna will save nobody. And Sukuna thinks the only way to become powerful in the world, the only way to get a value on Earth, is to have a complete disregard for others, while Yuji is the opposite, and he has, he doesn't disregard anybody, while Megumi is somebody who will go out of his way for a specific few. And that's really the core, like what it takes, like which ideology is correct among those 3. And when it comes to Yuji and Megumi agree to disagree. Like, okay, your way can work, I just prefer mine. I think that's a pretty big point in JJK. Obviously, there's more to that with Gojo's dream, but overall, I think that's the most simplistic message in JJK. Or the emotional conflict. Current social media outlets I go on rarely just make me feel bad. Facebook, Reddit, X. I just feel worse after. Yeah. Social media. I never used Twitter before I did a YouTube channel. And once I started going on Twitter, my life got worse. Like, legitimately. I just felt worse. Like, it's just negativity. And you might think you're like somebody who's tough and above that, but you're really not. Nobody is. You can let it rub off of you, but you watch you don't want to read negative things 24/7. It's just the truth. Yuta's ideology is important to convey a message. Yeah, more so in JJK 0. I won't disagree because Yuta is clearly an important character, because Yuta is a main character at some point, even if he's not currently. Twitter sucks, but JJK theories are forever. Visit the JJK folks subreddit. I might do a Q&A one day on my channel, actually. Sometimes I am the worst at managing my channel, though. I just do things on a whim, but it's fun, and people are really nice. And I really never expected on JJK YouTube in particular, because there are a lot of people, and I'll say this all the time, if you guys like Jujutsu Kaisen, just make a YouTube channel for it. Just talk. Do whatever you want. I mean, if you want to be somebody who talks about JJK, everybody, like, there's no limit to the amount of people that can share a passion for something, in my opinion. I think the true potential of the 10 Shadows will be revealed when Megumi comes back and mixes them all. Yeah, I hope the 10 Shadows all become combined together. 10 Shadows in general. The true power of the 10 Shadows, I mean, let's be real. Sukuna, he used 10 Shadows effectively, but was 10 Shadows exactly an incredible usage of 10 Shadows? Really, I get punched in the face over and over, and then I use it as my homework? Not really. Not in my opinion. But the actual Shikigami of 10 Shadows coming together as a true totality that is used in Chimera Shadow Garden. And Chimera Shadow Garden, I think that's the coolest domain expansion. I think it just has a cool look. It has a cool mechanic. Most of them are just like a sure hit, but this one is basically taking an effect just by being a domain. And I wish that happened more in the series, where you have a domain, like, let me get my thoughts for this one. Most of the domains feel like they have a bit of a sure hit effect, and that's it. Like, Malevolent Shrine, you get cut. Okay, are you not getting cut? No? Then nothing's happening. Unlimited Void, okay, are you getting your brain blasted? No? Nothing's happening. With Chimera Shadow Garden, it's like, are you getting your blasted by the sure hit? No? Okay, he's still summoning more Shikigami. You're still in his territory. And that's really what a domain should be, in my opinion. It should be your own territory. That's the whole point. Let's see. China Doll donates 5. Thank you very much. I honestly believe Sukuna showcasing the 10 Shadows is in a way Gege finalizing Megumi's character. What else is there for him to do? The true totality of Maharaga. Chimera Shadow Garden. The way Sukuna used 10 Shadows was like... Maharaga was like a dumpster Pokemon. Okay, you guys ever played Pokemon? And you have like that one fodder creature you send out, and you're like, okay, I need you for this, and then you die. That's basically what he did with him. He treated Maharaga like a cheap piece of meat, like an Asmongold $2 steak. What are your opinions on blood manipulation being on the same league as 10 Shadows or Limitless, since we have not seen anything on that level that can rival those? I think that blood manipulation is donkey, but I think blood manipulation, in theory, could be really good. If you could control the blood in other people, then it goes from being this kind of super niche, useless thing to you're a bloodbender, and you can just crush somebody's brain. Pop a vessel in their head. Let's see. Low-key true. Megumi doesn't deserve his technique anymore. That's so mean. It's very mean to Megumi. Hasn't he gone through enough? People love to hate on blood manipulation, but UG plus blood would be inherently better. Also, we haven't seen a blood domain yet. Like I said, in theory, a blood domain... now I just feel like I'm watching the Bankai from Bleach, but... yeah, a blood domain would be pretty cool. I can't lie. That explosive guy from the Culling games has a better version of blood manipulation. He has RCT. Yeah, he was... what's his name? It's slipping my tongue. Either way, he was... Hanako? But yeah, exploding eyeball guy that caused the Nobara theories, he was pretty good. He had a pretty, like, having RCT on any level, you're pretty good. Nah, I think the reason why Megumi never saw that as a sorcerer was specifically because he was getting saved as a vessel. Never used that as a sorcerer. Never used that as a sorcerer. I mean, we'll see. You could be right. Or he never grew. Yeah, I still think the Megumi comeback is going, and I could be the only is going to happen. I could be the only person that believes that, but I'm gonna hold to it. I have faith. I have the Dutch Vanderland faith. The exploding guy needed a sword to throw his limbs at people. You know, that's a sentence right there. Yeah, Hazunoki. Thank you. God, I could not remember. Yeah, Hazunoki. Oh my god. Truly a fraudulent YouTuber to forget such an important character's name. But yeah, he had RCT, which is pretty good, but his technique kind of sucks. How do you even find out you have that technique before you have RCT? What kind of people do I think Sukuna ate? All kinds. He said it himself. Big ups for the rabbit. Yeah, rabbits in Jujutsu Kaisen. Listen, if every single rabbit from Rabbit Escape was anime level, I mean, I think a lot of fights would have lasted a significantly shorter period of time. If you watch Fate, can you see the Gilgamesh and Angramanyu inspirations in Sukuna? I have not seen Fate. I was being facetious when Flame said that. I saw the Archer fight in Fate. I thought the animation was cool, but that's about all I've seen. Gege said he was inspired by Fate. Maybe I will take a look at it. Real question is why Hazunoke even chose to reincarnate. Yeah, you know what? That really is the real question, isn't it? Some of these guys just want to live again, but it kind of seemed like they had no overall plan. They just wanted to hang out. Once they got done with the whole Culling Games thing. If Yuta copied Ten Shadows, he could rule the world by reinforcing Rabbit Escape with his cursed energy. Listen, I am all here for the powerful rabbits. Gilgamesh does remind me of Sukuna. I know little about Gilgamesh from Fate, but from what I've heard, he is similar to Sukuna. Doesn't Toji dodging news electricity in the anime make the speed scale faster than Mach 3 before Naoya's curse form? Maybe. I mean, you can't really use anime feats if you're power scaling usually. Or, I guess you can. There's really no rule book for that. You can do whatever you want. If you want to take characters, there are some feats that do go above Mach 3. I don't think Mach 3 is necessarily the cap on JJK's speed. But to go to light speed, that's when I start having a disagreement. Why did Kenny put so much effort into reincarnating these people? I mean, he wanted his fodder for the Culling Games. Have you read Berserk? I had a theory for a while that the Murder Beast might serve a similar purpose to Emperor Granishka. I have read Berserk, and Berserk is actually my favorite series. I think I've said that a couple times. I even put it in my banner on my channel. But Berserk, yeah, Ganishka. If the Murder Beast is like Ganishka, maybe, Ganishka kind of just got fodderized by the mere presence of a god hand. I mean, granted, it was the god hand. And then he turned himself into that giant world tree. It's possible. But Ganishka kind of did that to himself. If Toji can dodge News Lightning, could he also dodge Cosmo's Curse Energy? Another Toji W. Listen, if you want to wank Toji, go for it. I'm not getting into deep power scaling on Toji, because often I find when we go into the deep power scaling on a stream, people get pissed. And I'm here for positive vibes today. Oh, no spoils? Yeah, I should have said minor spoilers for Berserk. I forgot, some people haven't read Berserk. It's an old series. And but my bad. My bad, people. I'll put the spoiler warning. I think that Kenjaku's whole plan with the merger is to have Yuji be the host. I agree, honestly. Especially now that we know the characters can survive the merger. And this was the biggest thing to me, was that for the longest time, people talked about the merger as if everybody didn't just have to eat it. You know, like everyone was going to die for this. But now we know that they can survive. And them being able to survive it, that kind of changes the whole dynamic around this thing, where it's no longer this cataclysmic we have to stop event. I mean, it is, but it's no longer this event that just executes half the characters in the series. Or, you know, pretty much all of them. Now it's something they can work towards and against while it's active. Let's see. Bro, I really like your videos. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Tenzin. If you get spoiled on Berserk, it's your own fault at this point. The series is way too old. I mean, it is an old series, but at the same time, if I can avoid spoiling in my own stream for people, I probably should go out of my way to do that. That's how I feel anyways. So I apologize if anybody got some Ganishka spoilers for JJK. I mean, Berserk. Is Maki making a comeback in the next chapter if the Executioner's sword fails? God, I hope so. Maki is a character that really needs a moment to shine, because Sakurajima, for me, is just not it. I don't think Sakurajima and Naoya battle was that satisfying. While yes, the actual feats she performed in it were pretty good. Her decking a giant floating bulb, not my idea of an epic battle. Why do you think that Yuta will not take an L, like how Gojo got? Everybody thought that he won for him to die next chapter. Oh, I think Yuta will take an L. I think Yuta's going to take an L eventually. I don't think Yuta's going to beat Sukuna at all. He might do something powerful. He might do something impressive. But I think Yuta kind of needs to fight Sukuna. Just for the, even if it's just to die, honestly. It's a cool fight. I want to see it. Maki gets one shot. I mean, everybody said everybody gets one shot. Everybody's getting one shot. I mean, Sukuna is clearly, at this point, holding back. I don't think they beat Sukuna here. I don't know if you can beat Sukuna, honestly. Like, in a 1v1, this guy's ridiculous. You love to hate him, and however they take him down, I'm guessing it's going to be some... you know, some merger, some Kenjaku plan. But right now, Gege Akutame going pretty out of their way to show us that Sukuna, while powerful, while an incredibly powerful guy, and while the other characters have certainly gotten stronger, it might just not be enough to take him down. Like, they're really painting him in a picture of, like, these guys have no chance, and he's just messing around. So the plot twist is coming, and if the editor is saying, oh, the crazy things will happen, maybe it has something to do with Sukuna. Is Gege a girl? No, Gege is a guy. They have gone to an all-boys school. They've said this before. So unless they're the only girl in an all-boys school, they are in fact a man. Yuji's soul swap technique reveal when? That's an excellent question. Yuji in general, the whole soul swap technique, we saw it once. It spawned like a quantum reckoning of videos about Yuji soul swap. Because man, people love Yuji. Even if Yuji gets hated on all the time, there's like the silent majority loves that man. So whenever there's a new Yuji technique video, everybody's there for it. or like a new theory, a new big theory, a new event. But we pretty much got a breadcrumb of that, and then we moved on. When do the leaks come out? Tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, depending on where you're from. Yuta or Yuji perishing before the end of the series? Oh, for sure. Probably both, to be honest. You think it would have been interesting if Kenjaku became as strong as Sukuna? I'll be honest, Kenjaku's not my favorite villain, JJK. Sukuna is. I don't dislike Kenjaku, but a brain in a jar is not my personal aesthetic for a villain. And I've never been the biggest fan of a character that is like, oh, I'm so much smarter than everybody. Like, oh, I'm so smart. Like, my whole shtick is I'm smart. Because sometimes it feels like Kenjaku's plans just go his way because he's lucky. But maybe he did plan that far, especially with things like a curse technique. Maybe he can predict when something like curse spirit manipulation will show up. Do you think Gojo would wipe the Heian era considering he was the only one to make Sukuna nervous? Gojo's clearing like 99... Gojo's probably clearing the Heian era besides Sukuna. I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, Six Eyes users, pretty strong inherently, and Gojo was the strongest we've ever seen of the Six Eyes users, and he has the auto infinity. And even though he does get tired eventually, Gege has said the Six Eyes will exhaust you eventually. I mean, what was his competition, really? Yorzu? It's like Sukuna's a king, but everyone else. Gojo's still him. Just because you're dead doesn't mean you weren't him. If Sukuna is so bored of Yuji, why hasn't he killed him yet? That's because he can't, low-key. You know, you might be onto something. It might be because Yuji's intrinsically linked to him, and killing him... Well, then again, he did kind of try to kill him in Chapter 213, when he says, oh, you're still here? In Chapter 214? Looking down at him, literally looking down at him from a building. Is Hakari getting bodied this chapter? Why does everybody want Hakari to die? Does Hakari owe you people money? Did he steal it to gamble? Like, what is up with the Hakari hate? Hakari fans aren't even that bad, okay? They're pretty chill. They're an oppressed minority in JJK, all right? Just let them have a W. Anyone else find it weird how useless Inumaki is? Like, what's the point of keeping him alive in Shibuya if all he does is nothing? Yeah, listen, I ain't gonna disagree. Inumaki's curse technique, really good. In theory, if you're strong enough. But to your average user, like, there's not a word that guy can say that's getting past Sukuna. Feels like you're underselling Kenjaku for real because he's the most skilled sorcerer in the entire series in terms of actual skill feats. I mean, I agree with that. I just don't think he's cool. That's about as simple as it is for me. I just think Sukuna's way cooler than he is. I think Gojo, Sukuna, Toji are all way cooler than Kenjaku is. I don't think he's weak at all. I think Kenjaku's definitely up there in power. Hakari's already dead. He doesn't know it yet. Let's just leave him alone, man. Inumaki is only meant to give Yuta curse speech. Actually true. That is the real statement. Do you think Gege will try to humanize Sukuna at the end? Because it seems like he might survive this whole fight. Kenjaku is way cooler than Yuta, though. You take that back. Honest to God, I think Kusakabe is cooler than Kenjaku. Except for the domain expansion, okay? I'll give you this. Kenjaku's domain expansion hand sign is my favorite in the entire series. He's pretty much just flexing his hands at you. Let me see if I can pull up the the image of it. Yeah, I'm curious, you guys. What's your favorite domain expansion hand sign? Unlimited Void's pretty good. Unlimited Void feels good to do. Like, you do an Unlimited Void in your hand, like, that's pretty easy. Sukuna just makes you feel like you're doing a Naruto hand sign. That's pretty cringe. On a side note, I feel like Cosmo lost his aura after dying in that volume cover. Cosmo never had aura. Well, he did have aura, but his aura was being insane. And he lived up to that by fighting Sukuna and dying instantly. Yes, I was wrong on my prediction of him having a good fight. But overall, yeah, he didn't have aura. He was just a madman. Idle Death Gamble. A lot of people are saying Hakari's. Hakari's is cool. I can agree. Hakari does feel like he's cracking open a cold one on your ass. Malevolent Shrine and Limited Void. Fair picks. I think my favorite still, yeah, I had to put, if I had to rank my hand signs in terms of which ones I like, which one's coolest, I'd say number 1 for me, Kenjaku. Number 2, probably Gojo's, and then number 3, Sukuna's, and number 4, Idle Death Gamble, excuse me. The Mahito hand sign, actually that's true, I completely forgot about his, because he constantly does it in his mouth, which is not my idea of a slick usage. The body horror aspect kind of put me off. Embodiment of Self-Perfection. That might actually be the best name. I agree. That's a pretty cold domain expansion name. We never got... Did we actually get to see Hanami's domain expansion sign? The Jogo hand sign. Interesting. Is Jogo actually your favorite one? Chimera Shadow Garden. It seems that everybody has a pretty wildly varying opinion. But I guess that goes to show how cool all of them are. I do feel like domain expansions as an ability to use, and just as a ultimate move in anime, they're just cool, you know. It's like it's even though it's kind of like a video game where you're just whipping out your ultimate technique to blast somebody, that doesn't make it any less cool. Like, it's shown in anime in a lot of ways feels like a video game where characters get their XP and they level up to body somebody. But maybe that's why everybody likes them so much. They have a pretty clear progression, you know? Tengen's domain is peak fiction. Domains over Bankai. Yeah, I'm hot take. Yeah, I agree. Domains over Bankai. Bankai are so cool, though. Okay, guys, we've been going for about 2 hours here, so we're going to wind down. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to end the stream. So send in your best. Malevolent Shrine is indeed best name. Well, what about Malevolent Kitchen? I mean, that one's a little bit better than Malevolent Shrine, in my opinion. What could Uro's domain have been? Since he doesn't have a lot of insta kills. I mean, if Uro's domain, like, folded space in on your own ass, you might just die. Hot take, Sukuna bodies Saitama. That is a hot take. Didn't that guy fart away a planet? And that's if you're ignoring his whole ability. Is Sakaba going to change anything? I feel like his story is done now. Takaba. I mean, Takaba might just be chilling, to be honest. I don't know if he'll do anything else. And if he does do something else, he's probably going to die. Who's my favorite Jujutsu Kaisen? My favorite Jujutsu characters? When I first started, number 1, easily Nanami. I love Nanami. He's a great character. My current favorites, I'd say number 1, Yuji. Number 2, Megumi. Number 3, Sukuna. Number 4, Kusakabe. And number 5, Gojo. I know I put Kusakabe pretty high. But Kusakabe is just one of those characters that you have him sitting there. He's kind of just vibing the whole time. And he hates being in every single situation. But he still shows up. And I like characters like that. Nanami was the same way. What do you think about Executioner's Sword killing Sukuna only to reveal he's a conjoined twin? And thank you very much for the $5, Don Beverage. That's an interesting question. If they're actually linked, if the Executioner's Sword killing Sukuna and then killing his bud. Oh, Toji left the chat. Sorry, excuse me. Let me get back to the question before I get off the rails again. What do you think about the Executioner's Sword killing Sukuna? Well, if he's a conjoined twin and the Executioner's Sword puts down both Yuji and Sukuna, I mean, that'd be kind of comedic. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not entirely sure how Sukuna is going to get out of the situation. I'm pretty confident he will. Like, I just don't see Sukuna dying to an Executioner's Sword. Personally. Who do you think embodies what it means to be a Jujutsu sorcerer? For me, it's Mei Mei. It's an excellent question. So many good ones. Well, Sukuna definitely does not embody what it means to be a sorcerer. I would say being a sorcerer is really fulfilling your role. In a lot of ways, I think Gojo fulfilled the role better than most people. He just went in first. And from the looks of it, he expected to die, or had a high likelihood of dying, so that when his time came, he wasn't even worried. He knew he did his job. So if I had to say who fulfills being a Jujutsu sorcerer, probably Gojo. He had that overwhelming sense of self, but he still cared about other people. Who is the fastest sorcerer, barring Sukuna? Definitely Gojo. Absolutely. He has blue. It's gotta be him. What are the odds that Yuji is either Sukuna's nephew or surrogate son? I have no idea, to be honest. I don't even know what the family tree would have to look like for that, unless I think about it for a bit. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question, and then we're going to finish here. My hot take is that Megumi versus Reggie was underrated as fuck. I mean, it is kind of underrated, but a lot of people have come around to it. Alright, let's answer this one, and then we're going to finish up. Could Takaba even have a domain? Because his barriers are domain level right off the bat. So he pretty much constantly uses a domain without needing to use hand signs or incantations. Takaba... Could he have a domain? Possibly. But does he really need a domain? Not really. His technique is so busted that he just pulls you in. He just soul resonates with you, and you lose. Everybody loses to that, pretty much, as far as we know. Like, I don't see the worth of a domain for a technique like that, honestly. And that's the only one in the series I could really say that about. But I think that's a good question. And thank you for asking it. And I also want to say thank you guys all for showing up today. We are going to wind down here because my voice is getting tired and my water bottle is empty. So thank you all for showing up again. Thank you guys for all the support over the last year. Thank you guys for watching my month-late chapter review. Like, honestly, I thought that video was going to do terribly, and you still showed up. That's crazy to me. You guys are like the nicest people I've ever met. But have a great day, everybody. I'm going to take off. I'm going to peace out.